Hello everybody and welcome back to part 7 of Kingdom Hearts Final Mix. And in today's episode, we're actually going to be finishing up Wonderland. Thank God. I have stated before that Wonderland is not really my favorite world, but I do have an appreciation for Wonderland. So, without further ado, let's just go ahead and get started. You want to go back into the Lotus Forest, and then Giant Rock appears. Hi, Cheshire. Cheshire. I still don't know how to pronounce his name, pretty much. I really don't know how to pronounce his name. But I think it's actually pronounced Cheshire Cat. I don't know. Listen, look, I'm just thinking of Bayonetta. Every time I hear that word or say that word, I don't know. Anyway, we got ourselves a new type of Heartless, the large bodies. The large bodies are kind of like the big boys. You want to hit them from the back. Pause, not like that, but you want to attack them from the back, and then once they're down to like about half HP or so, they're going to start doing their little rage attack, and then they're going to do this little charging attack at you. Best thing to do to avoid that is to just have Donald and Goofy just, you know, be your little shields, and just be like, hey, take the blunt of the blow from me. Thank you, I appreciate it, you know? Just do that and you'll be A-okay. But yeah, Wonderland. We still got a couple more things to do in Wonderland before we fully finish up. We're still looking for Alice. We don't know where she's at. She's probably just, you know, gone. She's gone. That, I'm not going to sugarcoat it with you. She's gone. She's gone from this world completely. But the game doesn't know that. Donald, you just got smacked up pretty badly. Nice defense up for Goofy there. We love to see it. We love to see it. What we want to do here is actually kind of push this rock into the water so that we can make new platforms to get into another area of, I want to say this either leads to the Queen's Castle or the Bazaar Room. Either way, I know in this episode we're definitely going to be going back to the Bazaar Room plenty of times. And we're also going to meet a bunch of not random, but new Heartless. I also like to say, I have been re-recording this specific episode for commentary several times. I did a take where I was a little bit exhausted and I just let it rock while I edited the video. And now I'm doing another take. The one you're currently hearing right now, I think this is the take. This is the take how I'm gonna go with it. It depends. I don't know, but I've done several takes for this episode and it's like, I don't know. It's either I don't like the sound of my voice, there's a lot of dead space. It's not really interesting, to say the least, so we'll see. But yeah, for me having Thunder early, going to Olympus Coliseum, hey, you might want to go to Olympus Coliseum. You could actually activate these lilies and get ourselves a Thundara G, which is, I do believe it's the cannon for the gummy ship, and I'm gonna put that on in like a later episode. I'm going to actually sit down, and I know in a recording I actually have sat down and did everything gummy ship related, you know, so don't worry. More Dalmatians, we love to see it. We need to probably go back and turn in our rewards. I think sometime soon we will. We're gonna do that later. But for now, let's go ahead and heal up Donald and get back into the Lotus Forest for a new encounter. These are the white mushrooms. There you go. There's my title card. So, the way how you want to play with white mushrooms is they play a game of charades. If they're cold, you want to cast the fire magic. If they're fanning themselves, you want to cast Blizzard. They got that little light bulb, you want to cast Thunder. The trick here is to cast at least 3 of the same magic in a row. For the rare material that they drop Mystery Goo and Elemental Shards and a Mastery Art, basically. So fire arts, Blizzard arts, Thunder arts, that's what they're gonna drop, you know. I got lucky here and got the Mystery Goo along with the Blizzard art, so that's basically a mastery of, you know, you're a master of the arts. You don't have to do it anymore. That serves a little purpose for later on in the game for getting a new weapon for Sora, which I think by mid-game we should have all of them, but this is early game. But mid-game we should definitely have all the arts. But yeah, anytime you see a white mushroom, go ahead, play charades with them. They drop a lot of experience, you know. They definitely drop a lot of experience, and they drop a lot of MP. So it's a nice way to recover your MP. It's also a nice way to pretty much, you know, get a couple of rare materials and everything. So I think think in this specific recording alone, I've run into 3 white mushrooms. 3 random encounters with the white mushrooms, and every single time, it's just like, I don't think I've ever gotten that lucky in my playthrough of Kingdom Hearts where they keep spawning in the same room. These are the guys who I was actually talking about in Traverse Town, back in episode, I want to say 3? I want to say episode 3 or 4, maybe? I think it's episode 3. Yeah, episode 3. I was talking about the white mushrooms. They do spawn in Traverse Town within the hotel, the Red Room. But I wasn't lucky then. And at that time, we didn't even have means of any magic, so... Yay! Now we do. So the earliest you can get them and start, you know, I guess, grinding for rare materials is Wonderland, basically. So now we're going to go back into the Bazaar Room, and this is that area in the last episode that I was kind of confused about because I'm like, why isn't the wall not flipped? Now the area is flipped, and it's kind of cool how the Bazaar Room just keeps twisting and turning and having all sorts of these weird things. Wonderland is a weird world, and this is the gimmick of the world. Each world has a gimmick. Wonderland its gimmick is being weird, and I love it. Even though Wonderland, you know, sometimes Wonderland is not my favorite because to me it's kind of slow, but you know, you learn to have an appreciation for it. Anyway, welcome to the Tea Party Garden. As a kid, I could never figure this out. I always skip this, but apparently you get very good rewards for, you know, picking the correct chair. So the goal here is you want to sit in the not so fancy chairs in order to get great rewards. You get an elixir, you get a high potion, you get a couple of potions, you got a lot of HP balls and whatnot, you know. Sitting in the nicer chairs, however, like this big pink one right there, and Heartless start spawning. And I bet you, as a kid, or in the original of playing Kingdom Hearts, you didn't know that. You always picked the first chair, you walked into the room, and you're like, why did this chair not work? Why do I fight enemies? I'm telling you, the strategy guides, they were making a living. They had to be making a living at this point. I'm not gonna lie. Like, even for me, kid me was like, well, I don't want to play this room anymore. This is kind of like a quiet room for me. I don't want to fight the enemies. I guess it goes back because even though I still had Donald and Goofy at the time, I guess part of me was still afraid of fighting the Heartless. Even though I had Donald and Goofy on my side, I couldn't trust them because they always kept dying and left me alone. Donald especially, not Goofy. Goofy was the MVP. Like, he kept keeping me alive and whatnot. So for example, right here, I sat in one of the nicer chairs and now Heartless start attacking me. I was afraid. I don't know why Kid Me was so afraid of the Heartless. I mean, maybe it's the design. Maybe it was the way how they were, you know, the shadows themselves were, like, creepy to me. And I couldn't really trust Donald and Goofy to help me out. Especially Donald, because he didn't really heal me. And I didn't understand the healing stuff at the time. And I wasted all my potions and stuff on getting, you know, Donald and Goofy, all their stuff. And it was just not a mess. It was a mess. So I think right now, what I'm trying to do is see if I can respawn the white mushrooms again here. It didn't work because Kingdom Hearts has this weird, not weird, but has this rule where if you sit, not sit, I said sit only because I'm watching myself sit in the chair. Jesus Christ. No, Kingdom Hearts has this rule where you can't go more but 2 rooms and the enemies don't spawn. So I was trying to see if I can respawn the white mushrooms, but no, they didn't respawn. I wanted to get, I think, Thunder Magic? Thunder Arts, but don't worry, later on in the video, we're definitely going to run into more white mushrooms. But yeah, that's the Tea Party area. Nice little small area. There's actually 2 treasure chests in the room that we can't get at the minute, but, you know, or technically 3, I want to say, 3 or 4. But 2 we can't reach, and 1 we have to do some shenanigans within the Bazaar Room. Speaking of the Bazaar Room, we're back here again. Now we're on the ceiling. It's crazy how wonky Wonderland is. This one entire room, the Bazaar Room, think of it like your living room. Now we're on the ceiling. I can only imagine if you're sitting in my house, I almost said sitting in my house. Well, I guess it could be sitting in my house. I can only imagine sitting in my house and then just watching Sora, Donald, and Goofy on the ceiling fight random Heartless. Now, it'd be funnier if you can't see the Heartless, but that would be pretty funny. Donald, you're dying, buddy. What are we gonna do here? Are we gonna heal him? Am I gonna actually heal him? I don't know. I think I'm also gonna take the time to explain when Donald's at his HP right there, the flashing red. That's when the Berserk ability comes in handy. I think I mentioned it before in like episode 5. Not episode 5, episode 4. I'm getting my episodes mixed up. You know. Alright, so now we gotta light up the lamps. Let's light this lamp. We're gonna hold off actually on lighting that lamp for a second, because there's actually more to the Bazaar Room than what I'm letting on, really. So, I feel like most people will just turn on the lights and then, hey, book it straight for the doorknob. But if you were to explore more of the Bazaar Room, in general, you're gonna get a lot of good stuff. So open this latch right back here to go back to the Queen's Castle. We're on the other side of the hedge, where we get ourselves another chest, and I do believe... Nope, not puppies. The other one had puppies, I think, right? Probably, maybe. I don't know. Decided to take a quick save over there. Heal up Donald, save my progress, because I don't want to lose anything. And now, we're gonna go back to that ledge where we were, onto the wall of the Bazaar Room, because there's some stuff that I can get there too. There's some stuff I want to show off real quick, you know. It's cool because, again, like I said, Wonderland is just... It's wonky. It's really wonky, and I know, maybe this is just kid me. Kid me was saying he didn't really like the world. Adult me is saying, I don't really... It's not my favorite world, but I have an appreciation for Wonderland because it teaches you the platforming. You really get accustomed to Sora's platforming skills here. You get accustomed to combat with Donald and Goofy, because it is supposed to be the first world, but there's also so many secrets that you're not going to figure out on first go around, which I appreciate this a lot. You know? There's a lot of secrets, there's a lot of stuff that you wouldn't even think until repeated playthroughs of the game. And strategy guides were making a living off of Wonderland alone. I don't know anybody who could get lost, but I'm pretty sure if you're a first-timer who's never played Kingdom Hearts before a day in your life, I'm pretty sure they would get lost in Wonderland. I'm pretty sure I got lost in Wonderland. But that's kind of why you also like Kingdom Hearts 1. The exploration in Kingdom Hearts 1 is actually designed for it before the later games, you know, got all action-y, all reaction-y commands and everything, which, don't get me wrong, I love Kingdom Hearts 2 to death. I love Kingdom Hearts 2, I love Kingdom Hearts 3, I love the later games to death. Kingdom Hearts 1 just has that little special place in my heart, you know. We got ourselves a defense up! I don't know if I've mentioned that before. Stat upgrades, always put them on Sora. Never anyone else. Always put them on Sora. Always. Because it's funny, as a kid, I would put stat upgrades to someone who needed it. So, like, I know Donald's defense was always low. This was before I even learned about, oh, hey, Donald's the magician. You know, he's stronger in magic, so he's going to be weak, but he's a strong magician. Make sure you keep him alive. My brain was like, oh, Donald doesn't have good defense. You know, maybe I should give this to him. And then me not realizing, wait, you can't control him. What are you doing?
Here.
Donald, what are you walking on? Look at him, wait, what are you walking on? Oh, he probably got stuck by the flower or the texture of the wall. I don't know. It's weird. Sometimes they just randomly do that, and I'm like, what are y'all walking on? You know, like Donald and Goofy would just jump up sometimes when they're stuck on something, and they just keep randomly jumping, and it's like, okay, what are you doing, guys? Alright, so the flowers actually gave us some good rewards. That elixir, though, I was kind of not wanting to give up that elixir. Also, this is a white trinity. We'll come back here later. We don't have the means of taking it now, but just remember this location for later. Remember this location for later, because we're going to. But yeah, the flowers here are really really picky with their stuff. Also, another entrance into the Bazaar Room. This time we're on the stove. The Bazaar Room is like the craziest room in Wonderland, and I think I would love to, if I can remember the map. Excuse me, sorry. If I can remember the map that, you know, that was in the guidebook for this game, the map is kind of like wild. Like, it had all these different points and whatnot pointing back to the Bazaar Room, and it just, like, if you were to pull up a map of Wonderland and have, like, rooms, every single point would lead right back to the Bazaar Room. It's that large of a room, honestly. Alright, gonna go ahead and fight this large body here again. Get another large body. More experience. I don't really know what else to say about the large bodies. I wasn't really afraid of the large bodies that much. You know, before I really knew their official name, I think I always called them big guys. Or big boys, whatever. I don't know. They were just they were huge. They were fat. They were big. Everything as a kid scared me in Kingdom Hearts. I'm not gonna lie to you. Meteor G! That's another gummy ship piece. I do believe that is kind of like a laser for the gummy ship, I want to say. I do put that on my ship. Hey! Second encounter with white mushrooms. Let's go. Let's get it. Let's get it. Let's get it. I'm telling you, every time you see white mushrooms, you gotta just do it. You gotta just, you know, play charades with them. And even if you have, like, the same reoccurring art that you did, or magic, whatever that you did, try and mix and match. You might get another mystery ghoul. That time I failed, but I got an elemental shard, you know. I think it's dependent on the last one that you do. I'm not entirely sure, but I think the last one that you do, like the last move you do, you will get a shard based on that element. So that's always nice. Didn't drop Mystery Goo for me this time, but that's okay, you know. Never lucky. I'm telling you, I think I probably used up all my luck, so. You're going to see within this playthrough that I do get unlucky, and my goal is to show off all the game, but also, like, show you some of my fails, because the next world we're going to, I definitely do fail a lot, but that's towards the end of the world, honestly.
Deep freeze.
Nice Blizzard Arts. There we go. Alright, well, I think there's like 4. Yep, here it is. There's 4 white mushrooms here, so you got 4 opportunities, but I think for this one, I just kind of ran out of time. Yep, there it is. He left, and I was kind of pissed off about that I wasted a thunder, but, you know, it's fine. It's all good. It's all good. Alright, so now what we want to do real quick, what I want to show off next is I want to head back to the main area of the Bazaar Room. Only because we're gonna get ambushed by a group of shadows. This is kind of odd, you know. You're kind of telling yourself, like, maybe these shadows are just harmless, you know. They're not that bad. So, you randomly will fight these groups of shadows, normally. They're looking a little bit cohesive in their actions, you know. They're kind of like, oh, wait, you know, they're actually organized and whatnot. But then they're gonna start getting a little bit bigger.
Thunder.
And their numbers are getting larger. And you're starting to wonder, like, what's going on here? You know, Thunder is still clearing them out easy. However, upon defeating this last shadow right here, we're gonna get introduced to the Final Mix exclusive Rare Heartless, known as the Giga Shadow. I can't believe I messed that up. Giga Shadows are Rare Heartless introduced in the Final Mix version of Kingdom Hearts. These are called Rare Heartless only because they only appear in a certain room within a world that ever you go to, and they kind of have different properties in order of defeating them instead of, you know, your regular, oh, I just gotta mash X to win, you know? There's like a certain strategy for some of the rare Heartless. That one right there is you have to not get hit. Defeat a good portion of them without getting hit, and then they drop the rare materials. The title card did say what they dropped. They dropped Fairy Stones, which is a synthesis material that we're gonna need for much later, so trust me, we don't have the means right now for taking on these rare Heartless, but we will come back to Wonderland. Like I said, we're gonna come back to Wonderland and, you know, take care of it. This should just be a meme within the Kingdom Hearts verse. I'm just saying, nothing of importance is written here. That should just be a meme. Silly me forgot to push the clock. I forgot to push the clock. And I think you're gonna realize, I'm like, oh shit, I forgot to push the clock. I gotta do it. Let me do that. But before I do that, I gotta fight the Heartless. Max MP for Goofy, and he learned Charge. Charge is actually really good. Good early game. Charge is more of an ability where Goofy will just, I think he'll run into the enemy non-stop, stunning them completely. That's Rocket right there, what Goofy just did. Launches up into the air. Donald, he's gonna die. It's okay, Donald. It's okay, man. Yep, bye. See you later. You know, when I actually did do a recording on this lately. Not lately, but earlier, like years ago. Yeah, I hate it. I hate sniffling. I hate sniffling. The funny thing is, I'm not even sick this time. I don't know where this is coming from, but it's like the mucus is gathering in my mouth. Ugh. Sorry not to gross you out and everything, but mucus is, ugh. I'm hearing myself talk. I hate it. Like, Jesus Christ, I hate it. But yeah, I actually did a playthrough of Kingdom Hearts 1 Final Mix way before. I think this was like 9 years ago. 9 or 10 years ago. Actually, technically it was 10 years ago to the day I did my Kingdom Hearts playthrough. Or at least started it, you know? And I had a death counter for when Donald and Goofy would die sometimes, you know? And I think the highest counter it got up to were like in the 20s. I did stop halfway through the game, and I decided to just like stream it on my other channel, so I put it on there. But this time, I have plans on finishing this game. Don't worry. I think how many episodes did I do? Like up to 24 episodes of Kingdom Hearts. Dark Matter. Oh, nice. That's actually really good. Another rare synthesis materials. These are the other two chests that we cannot get right now in the T3. I was wrong. There are 3 chests we can't get in the Tea-Party Garden right now until we have certain abilities. So, just remember that, you know, just remember that. But yeah, I had a death counter for Donald and Goofy. They were up to like the 20s. Donald was almost at 30, technically. And I think we were only up to like episode 24, 23, I want to say, before I decided to just stop halfway. But yeah, don't worry. Don't worry about it. I plan on finishing this. Like I said, I've actually recorded a bunch of episodes for the game. Currently, I'm up to episode 22, and I'm actually in the middle of the game. I wasn't going for 100% in my replay file. Not my replay file, but my post-recording. Ripple Drive and Max MP. Nice. There we go for Sora. That's what we like to see. More MP for our magic build playstyle. I almost say magic build playthrough. I guess it could be a magic build playthrough. That's what I want to say. Magic build playthrough. More magic is always great. You're gonna see that I'm gonna start building how I want Sora, Donald, and Goofy to be as the game goes on. You know, more magical abilities. Right now, we're still gonna get our magical abilities first, since we did pick the staff instead of the sword and shield, you know, which is probably why we also don't have Scan yet, but we're gonna get Scan soonish, I hope. We're gonna get Scan. Scan's gonna be great, and then once we get Scan, it's never getting de-equipped, because Scan is the GOAT. Scan is the best. But yeah, I think that's gonna be it for this room, mostly. Let's head back to the doorknob real quick. Let's see if we can get like white mushrooms to spawn one more time. I am lucky. I am so lucky to get white mushrooms to be spawning. Yes. I casted the wrong magic there, so that's one wasted opportunity. But get another chance to get some mystery goo, which is great. This is actually the most times I've actually gotten white mushrooms to spawn for me in Wonderland. Because normally, I never backtrack through the Tea Party Garden to the Lotus Forest. I never do that. But, you know, I was kind of like, you know what, might as well just backtrack real quick just to get that material. Because it's going to be hard to farm for mystery goo much later in the game. So the earlier, the better.
Thunder.
And then once we get Lucky Lucky, which is an ability that all your party members can have, it's an ability that allows your party to get rare materials, which is going to make it a lot easier to farm for it. But, you know, if you are able to get the materials early on, I advise you start now getting these materials, because late game is going to be a pain in the butt, and I can see it now. Now, probably I won't do much of the grinding. I'm just going to show off where the enemies are. I probably won't do the grinding. I have 100% in this game already. And it was hard, and got the platinum trophy for it, and it was a pain. I'm not gonna lie to you. It was a pain. But if I am unable to synthesize everything, and I know I'm gonna get to a point where I'm unable to synthesize everything, I'm going to boot up an older file, show you the rewards for that, and then I think we can continue on with the main file, and I'll go from there. If that sounds like a good idea. I think that sounds like a good plan, but that's for future me. That's future Zay's problem. Right now, current Zay, let's talk about taking out this red nocturne so we can go into the bazaar room. And probably I should have picked up that rare synthesis material. Oh well. That probably might come back to bite me in the butt later. But yeah, I think that's about everything I wanted to show off within Wonderland, because we're fastly approaching the boss now. It's at this point where you might want to just stock up your party with potions and stuff. If you have the potions to, you know, spend on Donald and Goofy, do that, because it could be a little bit tricky. This boss could be a little bit tricky, you know. But if you got Blizzard, also check that flower real quick before you do anything else. You know, you'll get yourself a rare drop. I don't think I checked the flower, did I? Or maybe I did, I just wasn't paying attention. I did, I just wasn't paying attention. Anyway, talk to the Cheshire Cat, and he'll introduce you to your next boss fight, which I don't like the color scheme at all. I'm sorry, I like his original design better. But anyway, this, ladies and gentlemen, is the Trick Master.
See ya.
Now,
See ya.
here's a tip. You want to cast Blizzard on the stove 3 times. Once you do that, the second part of the fight where he goes to the stove and lights up his little maracas, done. He doesn't even need to do it. The second phase of the fight is completely finished.
Thunder.
And what also makes it good is that he's weak to thunder, or has a high resistance, not high resistance, a low resistance to thunder. Even better, so if you go to Olympus, get thunder, he will pretty much be easy for the pickings, easy for the takings, easy pickings. That's what I want to say. Also, you can stun him for some HP balls and everything, but the main way of attacking him is just you just gotta jump. But it's at this part of the fight where he'll start going over to the stove, you know, he'll light the stove, and then he'll start casting fire on you. Because we did Blizzard on the stove 3 times, he doesn't do that. And now the fight's just completely easy. So, this fight can be a little bit tricky, no pun intended. I keep making the Trick Master jokes, but, you know, the fight can be a little bit hard. I know I struggled sometimes. I died on Trick Master as a kid several times, really. It's just a patient game, you know. If you don't really know that tip, what I would suggest is hiding behind the chair, hiding behind the table, you know, using the table for height before he destroys the chair. I think the chair will come back after a certain amount of time, but yeah. Mostly have the high ground, avoid his fire attacks. If you got Blizzard, cast it on the stove. Use Thunder to stun him a lot, and then the fight should be yours, you know? Pretty easy fight. Make sure you stun him for some HP balls, keep Donald and Goofy alive. Any extra hits, normally I don't give them potions like that, but any extra hits to keep you alive, it's all worth it. But yeah, max HP for Donald, and I didn't see what Goofy got, but Trickmaster. I'm sorry, I'm not sure why they gave him this design, because I like the black and red a lot better. It's maybe because I'm thinking, whenever I see this design, this specific Heartless design, I am mostly looking more towards Kingdom Hearts Days Heartless and Wonderland. That boss fight. It's the Prankster Comet? Not Prankster Comet. Prankster something. Prankster something Heartless. I don't know. But it's two of them, and you got to defeat both of them at the same time. It's such an annoying boss fight. Oh my god. And I think they got that color scheme from that boss fight. I just hate it. I hated this boss fight. Wonderland sucks in Days. No. It's just, I don't want to talk about that. But yeah, like I said, and I'm sorry, I was actually even talking over the cutscene. Sora just locked the keyhole. He just locked the keyhole. That was an important plot MacGuffin. I'm sorry, I was over here talking over it. My mistake. It's also here that if you didn't get the claw marks, also had it in the title card for Trickmaster, but if you didn't get the claw marks, you would actually receive Blizzard in this scenario here, you know? So, but we are thorough. We are adventurers. We are thorough. And, yeah. We're done with Wonderland for now. We will definitely be back here later on in the game. Definitely for some items and everything. But yeah, that's Wonderland. Pretty good first world, I want to say. Once again, you are free to explore Wonderland. If, once the big bad is defeated, you're free to explore Wonderland. No Heartless will appear until you leave the world. But yeah, that's going to be it for this episode of Kingdom Hearts. Next time, we're going to be going off to a brand new world and see what else that has in store for us, because that world is very interesting. Anyway, you guys take it easy. Take care. I'll see you all next time. Be safe. See ya.